When it comes to bass fishing, a lot of anglers often let themselves get boxed in by a set of rules. We've covered this before, whether you're talking about myths for topwater bass fishing or summer fishing, fishing in deep water versus shallow water. Today, we're going to be looking at another myth that, if you follow it, can really limit the number of bites you're going to get. What is it? Well, stick around. We're going to talk all about it. Welcome back to Lowbrow Fishing, and as you can see, we're back out here at the honey hole out in the middle of the woods. It's a place I like to come when I want to walk the bank, make a few casts, and just relax. Yes, old Lowbrow fishes from the bank quite often still, and we're going to come to some of these places that I frequent. It's not just the big lake. I want to bring you guys along on some of the adventures, some of the different lakes that I fish all across the state. I've done it a few times, but I really want to get into more and more of that as we move along. I fish the big lake a lot, make my videos there, but that's more out of convenience than anything else, and I really want to change those things up. But today, we're out here for a very specific reason, because, well, I'm known for busting myths. I'm known for going against the grain, whether it's barometric pressure, whether it's myths about moon phases, whether it's myths about topwater fishing, the rules that you believe for that don't really apply, whether it's talking about summer fishing deep versus shallow. Well, today I've got another myth for you that a lot of anglers really adhere to, and it's costing you bites. Seems like it makes a lot of sense on paper, but in practice, it's holding you back. We're going to talk about what that is, why it's wrong, and what you should be doing instead. But before we get started, if you like what I'm doing here, click that subscribe button down below. We'd love to have you as a member of this community. And while you're down there, give this video a like. I would really appreciate it. And if you haven't yet, head on over to patreon.com and check out my members page. It's a place where I post videos that I don't post here. I do polls over there, and it's a great place for us to interact on a more personal level. So, what's Lowbrow talking about this time? Well, I'm talking about color selection, specifically match the hatch, and why it's complete and utter nonsense. I know you're rage typing right now. You're telling me how wrong I am and how it works and how you know all this, and Bill Dance said this and Jimmy Houston said that and G-Man and Edwin Evers and all these guys are telling you to match the hatch. And I'm telling you, it's bunk. It's absolute nonsense. Can you catch a fish on a green pumpkin worm? You absolutely can. Can you catch a fish on a merthiolate worm? You absolutely can. I have never seen in my entire life a merthiolate colored fish. You have subtle hints here and there. As a matter of fact, most fish are a multitude of colors. For me, green pumpkin is just another color that you can use in your arsenal. Now, whenever I'm thinking of colors, I don't think in terms of how am I going to match the hatch. I think in terms of what are the conditions and what do I think the bass are going to react to the best. And that's literally how you have to do it. That's how you have to go about it. Don't think in terms of whether you're being natural or whether you're being unnatural. Think in terms of the conditions. And that brings us back here. See, the other day I was fishing with this. Just a black blue flake worm or something like this. A green pumpkin with a chartreuse tail, or something like this. A June bug with a chartreuse tail. This water here is really, really clear. It's very tannic, It's got some of that tea-colored stain, but you can still see to the bottom without any problem. A green pumpkin worm stands out beautifully. You can see it all the way through. However, if you fish with just a regular green pumpkin worm, you're not going to get any bites. When I put some chartreuse on the end of it, that's when I start getting attention. Whenever I go darker and I use a June bug worm with some chartreuse on the end of it, that's when I also start getting attention. And whenever I go black blue flake, I get a lot of attention with that, as you can see right here. Now let me go haul in this 9-pounder. Yeah, 9 pounds of slop. Oh. Got him. I got him. It's a catfish. No, it's a bass. I barely had him. But boy, he fought like crazy. That's about 1.5 pounds. Let's see what he looks like. Oh, he's pretty. Yeah. Yeah, he's pretty. See, I told you I was going to touch a fish. Good job. He's about 1.5 pounds. Proud of you. Good fish from the secret honey hole that everybody seems to know about. Thank you, brother. Now go tell all your friends. Yeah, he didn't keep his fins together. I give him an 8.5. Just real light. What are you, oh, I see what the problem is. But they're definitely on this side. It's like you said, you could feel them tapping at it. And then you get a, huh? Uh-huh. Saying I just, go ahead. Oh, there we go, I got him. I got him. He's not bad. He's not bad. I knew I was going to get that dude. Just pound, little less of a pound, right at 1.25 pounds on the Waco rig. But I'm telling you, I'm having to fish it so slow, so easy. Just barely drag it along the bottom, and you feel that thump, 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 and then I'll kill it and I'll leave it. Thank you, buddy. And belly flat, 6.5. So, using worms that have some chartreuse on them, have some bright spots, right? Now, this might be able to mimic a bluegill. You do have some of those smaller bluegill that seem to have those bright tails, which are like a bright blue or a bright green. So, okay, this might fall under natural. But does it really? This is more like a beacon that stands out in the water. This part actually blends in, especially in this water. The green pumpkin worm will blend into the background. And you got to remember, bass don't have the eyesight that humans have. What they see is not what we see. So we always try to impart our views on them. And that's where we make the mistake, where we start saying, okay, well, that color looks good to me. I'm going to throw it. You got to start thinking what looks good to the bass. I was able to catch some nice fish out of here using what I thought would stand out to the bass. And that was these colors like this in clear water with sunny conditions. And I was catching some really nice fish, but it didn't stop there. Now we're going to head over to the big lake for just a minute because I want to show you another example. And that is this guy right here. This little dark crankbait. It's a Sixth Sense. It's a smaller one. This is called a Crush, I believe. This is the littlest square bill that they have. And it's a hard float. But bright sunny day, calm water, nice and clear. I could see 3 to 4 feet down, awesome visibility. And there were pockets that had a lot of stain. Some places that had a lot of silt because there wasn't a lot of wind. So there wasn't anything to blow that silt out, especially in those little creek arms. This had no business working. I should have been throwing something like a sexy shad like that KVD. I should have been throwing something that had like a bluegill pattern. But this is what I threw. And, well, I was able to catch some really nice fish. Now, I didn't have my chesty with me. One of those crazy days when obviously it didn't start out on the best foot. I didn't have my SD card, so I wasn't any point in bringing my chesty, so I had to use this camera here to record a lot of that. My wife did double duty as my cameraman for that day. But that fish I caught on this was a nice 2-pounder. And I was able to follow that up with a smaller fish, but I was still getting nice bites in that same area whenever it shouldn't have been conditions for a black lure. Plenty of clarity to that water, but yet that dark worm and dark crankbait works. My wife's favorite color is black blue flake. That's what she throws on her Waco rig. And it doesn't matter what the conditions are. It can be bluebird skies, calm winds, crystal clear water, and she's still getting a lot of bites on that black blue flake worm because that's what the bass want. A lot of times we forget we have to go with what the bass want. Whenever you remember to put the bass first, whenever you're thinking about it and put those bass first, then you can really start to get more bites. You start to figure out more patterns. So that's the myth that we're talking about today. Don't do what you want, do what those bass want, and I'm telling you, it's going to make a huge difference in how many fish you're going to catch. And lastly, I do want to talk about something that was just, it has really nothing to do with this video as much as it's just an oddity that I wanted to show you, something I wanted to show you guys, and that's why I put it here at the tail end. And that, I was fishing with this. You guys know I love this Rico popper. Yes, they are expensive. They are super, super expensive. But my good buddy Hank over at Bass Geek, he sent this to me years ago, and I have been using it ever since. And I'm telling you what, this thing is money. This thing is a fish catching tool. And I was fishing it in super shallow water the last time out. We were heading back into the boat ramp. We were getting ready to put the boat back on the trailer. And I wanted to make a few casts over on a laydown that I saw right there next to the bank. And I was able to hook into a bass. It was a very weak blow up, almost like a slurp. And whenever I set the hook and I started reeling it, there was nothing. That fish was not fighting me at all. You know, you can take a look here and you can see that bass I thought was huge. Whenever I first lifted up out of the water, it had a ginormous noggin on it. That head was huge, but when I pulled it, the rest of the fish coming up out of the water looked like a ribbon. It was literally that thin. I've never seen a bass that big or that skinny before. Obviously, it's nature. There are going to be some fish that are sick, some fish that are going to die off. And while this should have been probably a 5 or 6 pound bass or more, I measured it. It was right at 20 inches. And yet when I weighed it, the bass weighed exactly 2 pounds. A 20-inch bass that weighed exactly 2 pounds. You can see how skinny it is. Now, what do you guys think about that? Is that something that you would have kept, or is that something that you would have put back in the water like I did? Honestly, I don't think that bass is going to live very long. But I wanted to show you guys some of the oddball stuff that I do. And even still, that white Rico popper had no business working where it did. That bass that I caught was maybe in 6 inches of water. And the funny thing is it was starving, but there was a lot of bluegill in that area. So maybe it's just sick, maybe it's just weak. Either way, think about what I'm talking about, matching the hatch. Bass don't see what we do. We often put our impressions of what we want the lures to do, how we think they should look. We do that rather than looking at it from the bass's angle. And when you do that, you're making a huge mistake. So try throwing based purely on what you think the bass would like. Look at the conditions, look at what's going around you, and instead of thinking, I have to match the hatch, try something completely different. You might surprise yourself. Those bass might surprise you too. So there you have it. Myths about colors. Don't worry about matching the hatch. Specifically focusing on matching the hatch should be the very last thing on your mind. Go what you think the bass will go after based on the conditions, based on what you see those bass are doing. I'm telling you, you will have a lot more success when you try it like that. Thanks for watching Lowbrow Fishing. We'll catch you in the next one.